Hello and welcome back to the Unrehearsed Podcast. It is your host, Giselle, and it is my 35th birthday this week. Oh, that feels so weird to say. Um, I don't think that when I was younger, I ever looked forward and thought too much about what was down the line or how I would feel or what I would do. I know that there was like certain things that you kind of just think, when I'm older, I'm going to have this kind of life or when I'm older, this is what, will look like, right? We're so good at planning our futures when we're a teenager. And I feel like that was kind of the extent of it. That was kind of the extent of me thinking about my 30s is was kind of just like, well, I want to have kids or I'm going to buy a house and, this is what my life is going to look like or this is what I want to do. But I don't think that I ever thought about like what it would actually feel like to be 35. Now I can just tell you that it feels weird. It feels weird. I don't not that I ever never thought that I'd get to 35, but just that, like, getting to this age just feels so permanent. That sounds so stupid. No, but honestly, it just kinda feels like, I don't know, like, there's just no going back, right? You're just like, 35. I'm sure the people who are older than me right now are just laughing because that probably sounds really silly, but it just feels like it just feels like I'm a grown-up now. I think that if when I was 25, I felt like a grown-up, but now I just feel so, like, mature. Oh my god, it feels very weird. I don't have any plans for my birthday. Everyone keeps asking me, like, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" I don't know. I don't feel like I want to do anything, and it's not like a sad, I think I've had a few friends who, when they turned, like, they're a I don't know, specific age, whatever ages, they'd get really sad and really depressed, like, "Oh my god, I'm, this old now," and whatever. I don't feel that way. I actually am thankful, thank God that I've made it to 35 in the shape that I have, made it to 35, and I'm really grateful. I do feel like the road has been long, but in a good way, and so, like, I don't feel like 35 isn't, like, a time to celebrate. I do feel like 35 is something that you should celebrate, is something that you should, do something fun for. I just don't know what. I don't There's just no real draw in my life where I'm just like, 35, I'm gonna have this big giant celebration. I don't know, maybe when I'm 40, but but for now, I just feel like, I don't know, it just 35 just kind of feels like another day to me. Um, which is weird because it really does, like, if you look at it, it just feels like such a milestone. It feels like you're halfway to 40, right? And now you're halfway through to your big girl age. And I don't know. I've been thinking about a lot about how 30s, like how 30, just 30 in general, like my 30s sounded like when I was 20 or in my 20s. And I think that I had a really different vision of what my 30s would look like. I feel like 30s to me just felt established. It felt like routine, it felt predictable. And, like, I don't know about you guys, but my life has not been like that at all. Like, I feel like there is, like, barely any predictability in my life. And that's absolutely not a bad thing because I love that life keeps surprising me and, like, there are other things. Like, I feel like at 30, you know how when you're a teenager and you think you know everything, right? You get to your 20s and then you kinda start to realize that you know nothing. And then you kinda hit your 30s and you feel like you've got a good handle on it. I just feel like I'm at that place where I got a good handle on it, but things still surprise me, and I love that. It's just I love that there is really, there is some things that are routine and there is some things that are predictable. But there are also these, like, crazy sidewinding left turns that you're just like, "Holy crap, like, where did that come from? But this is fun." This is fun. I did not expect that at all. Uh, and, there was, and it sounds more boring when when I put it in that frame, right? Routine, predictable. And that's not a bad thing. Like, I'm not saying that routines and, whatever are, because that comes with stability. That comes with, there are certain things where you want to be predictable and you want to have a routine for. And, I do have those things. I feel very established. I do feel very like stable. But I think that the important things are stable. All the other stuff is just like, kind of like still in a flurry. And that is what makes it fun. That is, I feel like, a good balance. And being a childless 35-year-old, it's so weird. Saying that I'm 35 just kind of gives me like a little bit of a but being a childless 35-year-old comes with its own like completely separate set of everything. I mean, like, there's a little bit of, like, an unlimited freedom that you feel when you are a childless 35-year-old. The only person I have to worry about is Matt, and then I have my dog, right? Like, I don't really have anything to, like, really anchor me down to, and anchor is just a word, but there is so much more flexibility in being 35. I have, like, just all of these extra things that I can do and all this extra time and this extra energy and this extra money and all of these things. And so, like, that is kind of what I expected when I was in my 20s that I wouldn't have. I did not expect to have all of that freedom and mobility and, just the capability of just being able to take a left turn when I wanted to. So it's pretty cool to kind of look back and just think. I feel like because I don't have a lot of moments where I remember in my teenage years or in my 20s thinking so far forward where I just feel like, I had something to compare it to now, like, oh, I never got to. I think the only thing that really happened, or the only thing that really I had, was like the kid thing. I didn't have kids. So that's the only real thing that I can compare. And besides that, it's all just kind of like this really wonderful game of what's next. Like, I didn't expect it because I wasn't planning it. I wasn't like thinking about it when I was 25. So like now I'm just like, oh, this is what happens when you're 35. um, I think that your 30s comes with a lot of perks. And being that I am now in my advanced 35-year-old age, I feel like I've got a pretty good, again, perspective. I got a pretty good handle on, like, I'm in the middle, right? I'm in the middle of I'm not 40, I'm not, just recently 30. So I've established myself in this really nice little middle section of my 30s. And I can say that I care so much less about a lot of things. I don't care if I look weird or stupid or if I make a fool of myself. I will be out in public and just be and say and be loud and be excited and dance. And I love that. Like, I don't ever feel like I'm out in the world and I'm like looking over my shoulder, like, oh my God, is anybody looking at me? I don't care. Like, even if you are looking at me. Um, and I love that. I think that is a huge perk. Fun is really different. Fun is totally just based on my hobbies, on things that fulfill me, on, fun in my 20s or fun in my teenage years was like, what is the craziest thing that I could possibly do and tell everybody about later? Now fun, I feel like, is grounding. Now fun is like things that I can show people later, right? But it's just more like what's gonna like fulfill me and like recharge my battery, right? Like what's gonna like be fun, and to me you're like, that will be a good thing to learn. That'll be a good thing, whatever. That is kind of where my fun is drawn. And that is, I feel like, I think hobbies are just so underrated. I think like having a hobby is so important. And now I'm getting into a bunch of other things, but it's just like when I was in my teenage years, when I was in my 20s, I don't know, I can't even tell you like what my hobby was. I don't think I had one. Like, I think I was so worried or busy with other things that I didn't have time for a hobby. Like, what a hobby, what? Like, my hobby is going out with my friends and trying to figure out, like, what someone's dating life is happening or whatever. Like, that was my version of fun, is being in the middle of, like, 20s dramas, right? Um, I think that right now I know myself way more than I did in my 20s and in my teenage years. I know myself so well. Like I feel like there are times where I'm like, maybe I should do this. And I'm like, Giselle, you're not gonna do that. like, let's be honest. Like you are not going to wake up at 5 a.m. Like it's just not gonna happen. Like I think that there is such a power in that, in being able to just kind of give yourself the pep talk. You're like not it's not even experience anymore. It's just like you can just lay in bed at 6 in the morning because you know that you're not gonna wake up at 5. Like um and I think the other thing that did not I did not foresee is how different friendships are. That is the one thing that I did not anticipate. I think that when I thought about friendships, and friendships have always been a little different for me. I feel like friendships, I don't know. I've talked about this before. Friendships when I was younger, I was surrounded by a lot of people, but none of them really felt like I was like a first pick, right? It was like I was a background friend a lot of the time. Um I did a lot of, just kind of hanging around in the circles, but not ever really being a part of the circle. Um, so like I always had this like, friendships are very mutable for me. In my brain, I'm always like, well, friendships always change. Like friendships, are here for a second, a season, and then they go, whatever. When I got to my 20s, I did find people who were like solid and I felt really, connected to and confident and, all of that. And I think that I thought would develop into more of a we're stable, we're here forever. I've noticed that in time, as people kind of branch off into different categories of life, things are still changing. Like friendships change, friendships um don't necessarily, I mean, like, they're not here forever. I know that we have always said that, friends can be here a moment and then gone, but I think that it's different when it's not really your choice. Like, when you have friends who have kids or have friends who have a career or have friends who, move away to get, a house or to, follow a dream or to do something like that. Like friendships change in such a different way and it's like almost not even in your control. So it's just kind of like, I feel like in your 20s, it's a lot of it is in your control. You have a falling out, you have something that happens, whatever, you stop being friends, they stop showing up, they stop, there's like a reason. But I feel like now in your 30s, the friendships are changing because of how, like, what's the word? Like, very, like, intricate, how intricate people's lives are turning into. And I just think that that's so nice. I mean, like it's always hard to like get distance or have distance from a friend or something like that changes and you don't get to see each other as much. Your friend moves away, now they're gone and that sort of thing. Like it's always difficult. That's it's never like yay, like but being able to see things develop and watch them grow and watch them get all the things that they worked so hard for is just amazing. And I love sitting back in my 30s and being like, they're really getting it, and they always tell you when what's your 5-year plan, like whatever, whatever that, I feel like there was like a point in time where that was just everywhere. What's your 5-year plan? What's your 10-year plan? Um, I feel like now we're in that 5-year, 10-year plan. And I think that that's just so cool to like watch these things that you guys, you talked about forever ago, and now being able to like see that actual come to fruition moment is so cool. And I think I feel like it is a perk, not losing the friendship, not, getting that distance or whatever, but seeing it develop, seeing it, you've been there. You were there when the idea started. You were there when that was being talked about, and now it's actually happening. And I think that is just really cool. Money. Money in their 30s is the biggest perk I could ever. I don't skimp on anything. I like, and I probably should. Let's be clear. I'm at the airport and I will buy the snacks. I do not care. I know that they're like way overpriced. I'm gonna get myself a brekkie and I'm going to get myself some snacks for the plane. I don't care. Airport lounges, love them. Love them. I'm like, me, an airport lounge at 19, 20? Hell no. I wouldn't be caught dead in there. I don't even think I could have afforded I don't even think I could have afforded it, an airport lounge at 19. There's just no way. Now, love them. They're the best, like, little break respite you could ever ask for at the airport. Um, rest. Rest is I feel like rest in your 30s just hits different just hits a different part of my soul. I honestly think that rest in my 20s was like, let me take a nap and then like, rush out of here. I didn't even enjoy my rests, I feel like. I feel like yeah, cuz like, I used to work at Starbucks and I used to work at Blockbuster, and so like in between my 5 a.m. shift at Starbucks and then my, 5 p.m., 3 p.m. shift at Blockbuster, I would go home and take a nap like right in the middle of the day. And I feel like I would just like, I don't know, it was like a blink of an eye. It was just like nap up. And like now I feel like nap and I'm just like, oh, like I have a whole new life. I wake up and the birds are chirping. And I actually have the time and effort and energy to acknowledge the birds, right? Um, good credit cards with points. That never thought I'd have in my 20s. 30s, non-negotiable. Non-negotiable. I will always put things on a credit card to get a mile or a point. There's just no way that I'm spending money for nothing. There's just like they're already charging you the percentage. Let's be so clear. I'm gonna get something out of it. Um, and I think that the importance of just, being surrounded by good people is in your 30 at 35. That has been also a non-negotiable. I cannot be surrounded by fake people. It's just like I have an aversion to it now. I could do it in my 20s. I think I would almost like be excited about it just because it was just like it meant that I was in a different circle. No. Now, no. I'm not getting caught dead anywhere near a circle that I do not belong in or that I'm not accepted in or just, like, where I can't be myself. I mean, I had to, like, think about that for a second because it was just really, like, if it's not a completely accepting circle or a completely accepting friendship, I don't want it. I just, like, it's no. Um, things that I was thinking about, though, speaking of, well, the importance of good circles and, like, what you're not accepting is things that I'm going to leave because I feel like now that I'm at the halfway mark, this is the time to look through, reevaluate, cut it out. Winging anything. I am not winging anything unless it is a structured winging. It sounds so stupid. Unless it is a structured weekend or I'm going to go roam the city or I'm going to go roam around this place. I'm not winging anything. If I'm spending money, I'm not winging it. It's not happening. I cannot think that I'm going to drop 100, 200, 500, $1,000 on something that's not well planned. No, no. That could have been me in my late 20s. Not happening now. Just also in that same realm, uh, good enough anything. Mm-mm. I'm too old for that. I can say that because I'm 35. Good enough anything. Good enough friendships, good enough, like, food, good enough drinks. Speaking of drinks, cheap alcohol. No. Will never pass my lips again. Like, I don't even like, I'm tired of pretending that I like to mix drinks. I have not found a mixed drink that I have enjoyed. And, if anyone wants to bring me one that I might enjoy, please by all means do that because there's just no way. I most of the time I feel like mixed drinks are just fillers of garbage and I don't like that at all. When I go drink like something, I usually will get like a lemonade and then I will special order a shot of tequila or, whatever, and then I will mix it myself. I don't want all the I don't like the bitters and the sours and all the other crap that they put in there. And I don't want the cheap alcohol. I feel like mixed drinks, you pay like $20 and it's like some shitty, like, barrel of the fucking bottom of the barrel, like alcohol. No, I'm not waking up with a hangover. I will pay the extra 2, 3, $5 to get a good drink that I will not hate myself in the morning for, which is weird because when I was like, you know, totally of legal age to drink, I could drink anything. Now I'm very specific. I am absolutely specific about what I am drinking because I don't want to hate and I'm also not like pounding drinks. I'm gonna sip it and I'm gonna enjoy it. Like I was telling my husband that like, oh, this was my revelation a really long time ago. I was like, when I started having good alcohol, I would say like the first one will be good alcohol. The first one or two will be good alcohol. By the third one, if I can't taste it, we can maybe move into the cheap alcohol. But I'm not drinking any more than 3 drinks now. There's just no way. I'm like, I will have one or two and that's about it, especially if I'm going out, I'm not paying $60 for drinks, there's just no way. I think we went to, when we went to New York, Matt and I went to a rooftop bar. I got a red wine, he got a Moscow Mule, and I wanna say we paid like 50 freaking bucks. I don't It was just so absurd. I remember being like, "Well, we better really enjoy these damn drinks, like, and enjoy this view because we just paid so much money for 2." I wanna say it was more than 50 actually. I'm gonna have to ask him because I don't really remember. He paid for it, so I was just like but I remember him saying it and being like, "Ew, that's so absurd." And it was already kind of pre-mixed or pre-whatever. He all literally just kind of poured it together. Absolutely not. Anyway, um, very last but most important thing that I will be leaving in my less than 35s is, mood lighting. Who was that for? Like, I understand the love for cozy homes. I love a cozy home. I love being in a cozy home. I'm getting to the age where cozy homes are a risk to my safety. I'm gonna cut my freaking finger off in the kitchen one of these days. And actually, just in time for me being 35, I bought rail lighting to put in my kitchen because I can't see. I'm like going to it's a hazard. I will cut my finger off. It is bad. So I was like, no, I'm done. And I literally when I ordered them, I was like, I've had enough of this kitchen. I am buying lights today. I do not care how much money I spend. I want it here tomorrow. And very well, it did come tomorrow. I spent however much I spent and I put the freaking lights up and now I can actually see, which is really which is really nice. But mood lighting, I mean, okay, it's got its place. But who the hell do I think I am? Like some speakeasy bar owner in like Portland? Like I need my kitchen to be functional. Functionality is everything when you're 35. Didn't you guys know? Oh god. I feel like 35 has been up to this point. 35 years up to this point has been filled with such like crazy highs and lows. I mean, like this is just like the explorer phase of life. I feel like there's just so much that happens and like so much that you learn and so much that you do and all these things and you're kind of sifting and sorting through all these things that you want to do, you don't want to do, you want in your life, you don't want in your life. And I feel like now that am here and my birthday is coming up, I earned those 35 years. I earned them. By the grace of God, I am still alive. And I earned those 35 years. And I'm really excited for what's to come in the next 35 years. And yeah, I think that that's just it. I'm excited to see what all of the sifting and sorting and learning in these 35 years is going to propel me into in the next 35 years. So, wish me luck. I will catch you guys in the next one. A quick announcement before I go. We are going to have the founder of Peninsula Women's Reset here next week. So definitely be on the lookout for that. She is a really amazing person with an amazing idea, and I really wanted to highlight her story and what she's going to be doing for the community here in the Bay Area. So keep an eye out for that. I will catch you guys in the next one. I will be 35 in that episode. See you guys next week. Mwah! Love ya. Bye.